Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to part 4 of this week's episode of Leading Our Own Way. We're getting into some valuable insights from this week's guests that you can definitely apply to your own journey. Please definitely stay tuned for advice and inspiration that can help us all. If you missed the first part of the week in part 1, 2 and 3, definitely go back. The show notes should be filled with all the links, so go and click on them if you need to catch up. Also, definitely subscribe to the channel and all the other ones if you can. It's going to really help the show. But for now, enjoy the rest of the story.
And then I hit a rock bottom because after June of 2021, which is when the second massive COVID wave happened, no business in June, no business in July, no business in August and September and October. And I started to eat into my savings because I was spending thoughtfully whatever I was earning, but the expenses were piling up. And by October, I clearly remember that day, I had $2 in my savings account.
Wow.
And it was similar this month. My wife's birthday is in October, my elder son's birthday is in October, and the Indian festival of Diwali, which is something we celebrate as big as Christmas in other countries. And 10 days to go to my son's birthday, and I was like sitting in the bathroom with my face in my hands, like, what the fuck, man? You have $2. What do you do now? Go get a job, go out to the family and tell them you failed. And I had my own embarrassment. If I would have gone to them in that moment, I'm pretty sure they would have helped me out and nothing would have happened. But my need in that moment to show confidence in myself surpassed everything. I next day went to the bank and said, can you loan me $10,000? And I'll pay you back on a monthly EMI. Because my credit history was okay in India and pretty good in India, they gave me that $10,000. And I was like, Utkarsh, this would be like 5 or 6 months of runway. What's your plan, man? You're in October, you'll be done by April of next year. And so I started to work double hard. And that's when I created that phrase for myself, Andrew, still on the wall right here in front of me. If not me, then who? And if not now, then when?
Oh, so say that again slowly. I'm going to make a guess gem out of that one.
If not me.
If not me.
Then who?
Then who?
And if not now,
and
then when?
Not now. Then when?
And I would repeat that to myself 100,000 times a day. It was right in front of me throughout. And I kept putting myself to work, action, and things started to turn around. And by March of 2022, which is next year, where I thought that I would run out of the loan money as well and I'll be bankrupt, I made a few good deals. I took the business up. We struck a big deal with a company in India, and things were I still get emotional and like feel like, how did I manage that? But I think it's just having that confidence, having that belief, and then the universe also aligning with that belief. And I think so the visualization that we started the conversation with, the action that we started the conversation with, the growth mindset, the ability to live by my values, the ability to show up and live frugally during those times because you don't want to spend too much. And I think that's what's allowed me to succeed in my own ways.
Was that the same business that you've got now?
Yes.
So you just brought it over with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to the beginning of the journey when you decided to leave your previous industry to do what you're doing now, though, because I feel like that's where I kind of am. But first of all, you just mentioned values. I remember what you said, but can you explain your values to us?
Yeah.
Because you've got 5 of them, I believe.
Absolutely. I love my values. The first one is discipline. Show up on time, have discipline, consistency. That's what matters. The second is excellence. Do your best to be present, to do your best in every moment, whether you're cleaning utensils or you're showing up on a podcast. Do your best. Do it with excellence. The third is freedom. I want the freedom to choose where I want to go, what I want to do, how I want to do it. The fourth one is growth. buzzword growth mindset, but growth is important. So learn and grow and evolve yourself. And the final one is love. Do all of this with a lot of love, because there's nothing else. If you cannot show up with love to yourself, to the people next to you, to the people in front of you, to the clients, to the Uber driver, to the Coles person who's taking the money, if you cannot show up with love to all of them, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. When I imagine myself as a viewer, or when I am a viewer listening to other podcasts, listening to very intelligent people talk like you do yourself.
Mhm.
Let's go back to the word excellence, showing up, being excellent.
Mhm.
That question of how always comes into play. We say it, but they're going, but how? How do you work on yourself to be excellent, or to be present, or to be disciplined, and so on?
By putting in the work, Andrew. I don't know if there's any, I mean, at least I've not found any other way. Like when I talk about discipline, it just means show up. It just means commit to the right things. It just means that if you want to show up to your health and go to the gym, show up every day, not just during the first few weeks of the year. And that's the way to be disciplined. If you talk about excellence, then you've got to be aware. The edge of awareness comes in. That the way I'm speaking right now, the way I would want to be on a TEDx, the preparation that I'm putting in to be excellent, is that the right preparation? Can I do more? Can I get to a mentor and ask them what am I doing right or not? Can I get feedback and still not feel judged? And that's what allows you to be excellent. There is no other way but to put in the work. If you want this podcast to succeed, whatever that success looks like, you have to put in the work. It's 10 p.m. your time and my time. We're both sitting here having this beautiful chat with each other because we're ready to put in the work. I've seen people crib that I'm not getting a job. Put in the work. I often tell the coaching cohort that I was a part of, Andrew, you're about 36 people who were learning to be a coach in 2020. If I remember correctly, there are only 2 of us who are still persisting on that journey. And people often ask me, Utkarsh, what allowed you to do that? I would talk to those peer coaches. I said, I was hitting my wall to the head. I was hitting my head to the wall, and I would hit it till I break the wall, because there's no other way. I don't want to create safety nets for myself, because if there are safety nets, then I'll fall into my comfort zone and then I'll go back 5 steps. I
agree.
want to risk it all. I want to face my fears, because that's where my growth, that's where the spark gets ignited.
I said the exact same thing the other day to a few friends, but also here at the house. I said, there's no second plan. There's no plan B. No. No plan B, no safety net. I am not going back to teaching full time. I will say it crystal clear. So if there's any principals watching, they ask me to apply and go, no. I don't want to. It's not even a backup plan. See, casual teaching just brings in the money. And I still want to come back to that middle, because you did leave with the fear, and I call it the fear because I do think fear sets all your values a little bit more in place. Maybe I need some advice, because I would just love to quit, but I don't have money to pay for the mortgage. So what do I do? Maybe you can give me some inspiration there. But again, like, you have to have that. All of what you've just said has a mindset. Is there something that you do personally to get yourself in that state? Like, is there something you do to set up the day? Was there does that make sense? Because I do. I feel a difference in myself when I don't go and jump in the cold water, for example. When I've eaten sugar the night before, I now understand my internal body. And I feel like when you've just drank on a Saturday night, a hangover hits on a Sunday. I know now when I've had something sugary or inflammatory, I know my back hurts. But I can reverse that pain. Or my mind is a bit more, gloopy, and I'm a bit more brain fogged. But I'm so clear on the other days when I just maintain doing what I like to do, even if it's just lifting a bit of weights in the morning, a few press ups. I don't know. You're very crystal clear. I can see it. You're so purposeful there must be something you do.
I think two things. One is a short-term daily thing, Andrew, which is to create a routine,
Mm-hmm.
live by a certain system, so to say. And so I wake up at 4:15 a.m. every morning, come what may. That has to happen 4:15 and 4:30 based on how I would have slept the previous night. I have my 15 minutes of meditation. I have my 30 minutes of focus work, whatever that might look like. And I do work in the morning. I don't deny that. And then I go to the gym for an hour, hour and a half. And that 2.5 hours before the world wakes up is my time.
Yes.
And I love that time. So that's the daily routine. And then I live by the calendar. I have flexibility in there, but I still want some bit of structure. And I say no to everything that's not in line with my purpose. I don't love to watch Netflix series. I have not watched a series in the last 10 years, I think. The only thing I would have watched is that if my wife is watching and she wants me to join her and accompany her, I would sit there and try to be fully present. My brain still goes other places, but I still try to be fully present. And then the long-term practice is this idea that all I have in my control is the action. There's complete detachment from the outcome because I really don't control it. I would want $1 million right now so that I can focus just on the creative work and I don't have to worry about any bills and any mortgage. We're getting to my sleeping time, my friend. I've never been this incoherent. And so that the first thing is detachment from the outcome, focus on the action, and then clear goal. That's my. I'll give you a story. What is it? So there's this in the Indian epic. There's an epic called Mahabharata, where there are 5 brothers, and then there's the other team of 100 brothers, and they go into war, and all hell breaks loose. During that time when these brothers were being trained to be archers and this and that, their teacher calls the 5 brothers, and out of the 5, there's one who's the world class archer in them. And so the teacher puts a bird into the tree, and the teacher asks, I want you to today pierce the eye of that bird. And so he says, can you come one by one and tell me what you see? The eldest comes and says, I see the tree and there's a bird there. The next one, I see the tree, the branches, and then the bird there. The other 2 come. I see the clouds and the breeze and and this and that. He calls the person who's the best archer in the world. His name is Arjuna. Arjuna, what do you see? Oh, teacher, I only see the eye of the bird. And I think to me, that eye of the bird is to help as many people. I've quantified it at 1 billion people, ignite their spark. I might not reach even 100,000, or I might surpass that number. I'm not counting. But it is my life's mission to touch people's lives, allow them to embrace the fears, be driven by the fear, live a life of courage, ignite their spark, and chase their dreams. Because that's worth it. It will be a tough journey, but it's worth taking that journey. It's a level of intoxication that I can't even explain, Andrew. It gives so much bliss to be able to see people have beautiful moments, people transform through the work that you do with them. To me, that's it.
Yeah, I love it. No, I align with you completely, man. I really, really, really do. And I think I want to see your eye through your eyes in the day then. So if I was coming to you for your services and I was a fly on your wall in your office, who am I? What type of person or business am I coming to you?
So there are 2 personas, I would say. If you're an individual who feels that I'm feeling that sense of burnout, I don't think my life's in my control. I don't know if entrepreneurship is right for me or work is right for me, my relationship. I want to figure life out. Then I would be willing to take you on that journey where we'll define who you are, define your values, and see what emerges for you through that conversation. And we'll, in about, say, 3 months, we'll have the desired future knocking at your door. So that's for the individual. But if you're a business and you feel that we don't have the right culture, we don't have safety, and we don't have leaders who are vulnerable, we don't have managers who really know how to be good leaders, then it'll be a longer conversation. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to have that conversation because it also, at the end of the day, involves shifting people's mindsets, which is something that I find joy in.
Love it. It's interesting, the leadership side of things, isn't it? I shared a reel today, Simon Sinek, and I talk about this quite a lot, about the Navy SEALs and the Navy SEALs 6, and he brings up the metrics of measuring performance versus trust, but we don't measure trust in the typical normal corporate health education will, but we keep hiring people of high performance, of low trust, and Navy SEALs reckon that name those people toxic. So therefore we then have toxic leaders because they're the ones we hire, because we don't measure trust, we only measure metrics of performance. And do you agree with Simon? Do you align with what he's saying? Is that something that you see in your clients? I don't mean your clients coming to you are toxic, but is it an issue they may bring to you often?
Absolutely. But what I also do there, Andrew, is that I'm going to put the onus on the individual. That in case you work in a toxic environment, in case you feel that the organization is not allowing you to thrive in the way that you want to, then you're the one who builds the culture. What can you do differently? So that's the first question. And if you feel that you've tried everything and nothing works, what's stopping you from going away, packing your bags up and finding another job? And I know in the practical world, this seems really hard. But what I'm saying is that, are you at least putting action? Is rubber really meeting the road? And if it is, then start visualizing, because things will change when you start.
You know what? I completely agree. And it probably segments my own personal trauma. I was bullied in the workplace 10 years ago. And if they're listening now, this is not to hurt them. It's not to be defaming their character. They might not even know they did it. They just see what their side is. And anyway, touching on what you've just said there, though, I was sponsored by the school, being British. It was hard to want to apply for a job to convince another person to give me a job, but then two, to add the sponsorship to that job, which means payment and more money. If they weren't willing to pay, I didn't really have a spare $3,000 at the time for me and my partner to then latch onto a new school. And I was bullied in the workplace. I couldn't run. I couldn't move. I felt my hands were tied up, and I was in this toxic place of just being gaslighted every day. Things being made up, and then I lost all sense of myself, all because I tried to be authentic. I tried to build these relationships. And, you hear people say, oh, I don't come to school, I don't come to work to make friends. Well, I always say, why not?
Why not?
Like, I'm not asking for dinner every night. I'm not asking you to go out for drinks with me every night. I'm asking us that we fucking connect on a daily basis, and we have a bloody good time doing it. Yeah, I'm not saying we don't teach the kids and that we just sit at the side talking on our phones all day. That's not what I'm saying. But why can't the fuck we be friends? Spend 8 hours a day, if not more, together. We're a team. Why can't we be friends?
40 hours feeling crappy about work, about the people that you work with. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah. So that led to throwing up 3 out of the 5 mornings a week, because that fight and flight kicked in, and I couldn't fly anywhere. I just couldn't move. So I was throwing up, and I thought I was just ill at the time. Now I know what I know, and everything I'd studied afterwards, I realized obviously that was the psychologist obviously went through that with me as well. But suicidal thoughts. Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.